Okay, welcome back to the Average Dad channel. This is episode 3. Episode 3 is joining the neck and the body together. In the first episode, I went over all the specs on what makes this a vintage guitar build for 1963 Fender Stratocaster. All the parts and the prices and everything that goes into the build. The second video was installing the tuners, the vintage style tuners and the ferrules, and how to remount the holes. And this one is going to be joining the two pieces together. One thing interesting right off the bat though, I wanted to look at how straight the neck was, and the neck actually had convexity to it. In other words, it had a back bow. Now this neck is a double action truss rod. So in order to get rid of the back bow, I actually had to turn the truss rod counterclockwise. So counterclockwise would actually add relief or concavity, because I have convexity. So, you know, back bow, convexity, concavity. So relief is concavity, back bow is convexity. So I actually had convexity. So loosening the counterclockwise with the truss rod from here, took that back bow out, and now the neck is straight. I can't see any. Now I'm going to put no relief on the neck at all, because usually when you string it up, it adds a little tiny bit of relief on an electric guitar. So what I found is if you just kind of have a straight neck, and then you add relief by stringing it up. So once I string it up, I'll check the relief again. I'll check the straightness of the neck, and if it plays okay without any relief in it, I'll just leave it there. If it needs a little bit of relief, I'll just loosen the truss rod a little bit more, or counterclockwise. It's a double action truss rod, so it works in both directions. So counterclockwise adds relief, and clockwise adds convexity. So I thought that was interesting. So what I'm going to do here is put these two things together, and the neck into the body. What you can see is the way they've machined it. I mean, it's a really nice fit. I just want to make sure that I definitely make sure the neck is pushed all the way up against this side of the route channel, and all the way back. Another thing too that I've noticed is that you need a 1/8 inch hole, which is a little bit bigger than the screw. So the screw is a little bit bigger than 1/8. So I have a 1/8 inch drill bit, and what I did just as a test is I took the drill bit that I'm going to use, and I drilled a 1/8 inch hole in just a piece of scrap wood, and then I wanted to make sure that the screw, the threads were making good contact with my screw hole here, and that had a nice tight fit, which I do. So it's perfect. But usually the holes in the body are 3/16. So this is 2/16, and the holes here are 3/16. So that way the screw can just kind of slide right through the body, but yet thread into the neck. But what I did notice is my 3/16 inch bit was not fitting into these holes. And I did have a bit that was 5/32, because I just wanted to make sure I don't want to drill these holes out any larger. So these holes in the body are actually less than 3/16. They're more like 5/32, which is fine. But I just didn't want to, I wanted to keep these holes exactly the same size. And so just be aware of that I thought the standard size was 3/16, and this looks more like 5/32, which is a hair smaller. And I used my caliper to determine that this is closer to the 5/32 than the 3/16. So the next thing is I am going to use a brad point bit. Brad point just means there's a little point on the end of the bit, and that's a good thing because that kind of just centers the hole into the neck, and it's very sharp. This is a brand new bit, so it's very sharp. It'll center the bit in the hole, and it'll drill a nice hole. Another thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill through the body into the neck. The reason I'm going to do that, instead of just marking the holes in the neck and then drilling them, I could probably just do that actually. I'm just going to drill it through the neck because I just want to go straight through the neck, and I want to have the neck, the body, and I want to have the holes in the body kind of guide my bit into the neck. So what I did with my caliper is I determined that the depth into the neck is 4/10 of an inch. So how I did that basically was I just took the screws, and I want to go through the plate because you do have the thickness of the plate. Not much thickness there. Just put a screw through the body, and that's how far the screw is going to go into the neck, right? And I don't want to go any farther than what I have to. And if you measure that, it's about 4/10 of an inch. So we know it's going to go 4/10 of an inch in. And the length of the screw is the same length as my drill bit. So, in fact, the length of the screw, my drill bit's just a hair shorter. Just a hair, so the screw can kind of like make its hole for the last 1/16 of an inch. So when I go through the body with this drill bit and through the back plate, it will come out the other side at 4/10 of an inch. So that's basically all I've done here. I just want to make sure I only go as far into the neck as I need to. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to clamp these two pieces together, and I'm probably going to drill 3 holes and get things started, and then maybe drill the final hole. So what I'll do in order to do that is I'll use a clamp and a caul. So this is a piece of wood with cork on it, and that's going to fit right here. And then on the other side I have another caul with cork, just a piece of wood with cork on one side, which will be on the fretboard. I don't want to damage anything. So I'm just going to go ahead and clamp this together and drill the holes. But one thing I just want to reiterate though is once I get this clamped, I just don't want the neck to be like ajar. I don't want any distance right here. I want this to be right up against the body. So let's give it a try. Hopefully everything goes well. So I am going to clamp it. I think it'll just make it easier. Just going to set the clamp underneath and put this caul cork side down. I'm just going to go ahead and just snug it up a little bit. And it's all the way back in the neck pocket, and it's all the way this side. And I know from doing my string alignment with my bridge and saddle in place that it's perfect. I mean, it's perfectly, the neck pocket is really perfect. So you can see there, I can basically drill the 3 holes with this clamped. That'll kind of give me a good starting point. I just want to make sure everything is lined up, clamped down tight. Okay, moved a little bit. So I don't know. Just want to make sure it's really in there. It tends to want to move, so yeah, see it's not staying put. I really want to make sure it okay, that's really in the neck pocket now. So you can see there's no distance here and no distance there. It's right in the neck pocket. And now what I want to do is I want to make sure that I drill perpendicular to the body, straight down in the body. I'm checking the neck, make sure it's in the pouch, it's in the neck pocket, exactly where I want it. And it is. This is just a protection. Okay. Now that's the exact distance that I need. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to check the length of the screw one more time. And that's just about right. So you can see that's the length of the screw. My bit is exactly the length. I do have a piece of tape on here too. There's a measurement, just to make sure I don't go past it. I'm going to check that neck pocket one more time. And I'm just going to make sure nothing moves. And I'm going to go ahead and hold my breath here. So I have a brad point bit, and it's just going to go straight down. And I just need to go 4/10 of an inch. I'm going to look one more time because I'm paranoid. Yep, everything looks fine. Straight down into the guitar as carefully as I can. This bit is very sharp, so okay, I just want to check. Everything is perfect in the channel still, nothing moved. And I think I'm going to take the clamp off. Check my neck hole. See if my gauge will fit in there. I don't know if it will or not. No, not really. But I do want to test the depth of it. I think I have a small Allen wrench. No, maybe a toothpick would be perfect. I have like a little rod here. Fit in there. Just want to make sure. The holes look perfect. Let's see if I'm on the right track here. Yeah, that's just about it. 4/10 of an inch. Should be pretty close. I mean, I might have to give it a little bit more. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to sink a couple of these 3 screws in and then maybe drill the 4th one. But one thing I'm definitely going to do is use my tip with the butcher's wax, especially here because these holes are going to be tight. It's not going to be easy to thread these through. And this wax, putting wax on there really does make a difference. I know it says butcher's wax works really well. Just going to like get some on the threads. Maybe a little bit in the hole. Let's see what we can do here. You always have to put the neck straight in. You can't because it's tapered. And I'm just going to make sure I don't put anything underneath the guitar that might scratch it. Put this protective. Let's see if I can get one in. So let's see here. Oh, got the I got the neck. I got the neck plate in backwards. It seems to be going in really smooth. Oh my gosh, very smooth. Really smooth. Put a little bit more wax. This stuff works really well. I think it's a petroleum base, but it's really smooth. Wow, unbelievably smooth. 1/8 inch is exactly right for this job. The 1/8 inch hole. It's perfect. Okay. It's perfect in the neck pocket. So I'm just going to loosen it a little bit. I'm just going to go ahead and drill the last hole while I've got it on here. More of this wax on. Let's see what we have. It's amazing how perfect these screws feel. Absolutely perfect. There we have it. I don't have anything on the table here. That's absolutely perfect. And what I'll do real fast is I'll get my bridge. I'm going to put this back under the guitar. You never know what could be down here, ready to scratch my finish. Here's my solid brass tremolo. Go ahead and set that back in. I'm just going to go ahead and do the old string test again. So I'm on the high E string, right over the hole where the string's going to come out, and I've got an equidistant distance from the end of the fretboard. And on a low E string, right over where the string will come through over the saddle, I have an equidistant low E string from the edge of the fretboard. So that distance there looks identical to that distance there. So that kind of gives you an idea that the fretboard is lined up perfectly. So I just wanted to give you an idea what it's going to look like with the pick guard on. So this is an aged pick guard. And I guess back in the early 60s, they kind of yellowed. I mean, they looked aged, but they also got developed like a green hue to them. And this pick guard, now there's plastic on here. I haven't taken that off yet. But once I take this off, I don't know if you can see it in this light, but it will have a greenish, like a nice white look with a green hue to it. And it was something to do with how they made the pick guards back then. Some type of substance in there that kind of aged as a green. And I think that will look wonderful on this guitar because of the color of the guitar. But and then the pickups that I bought for it are kind of a creamy color, like an aged look to the pickups. So, and they're all humbuckers, but they look like single coils. They can act like a single coil, and they are also a humbucker. So I can split each one of them, so they play like 3 singles or 3 humbuckers, whatever. However, so this guitar is going to have a little bit of everything. And look how nice it looks. I just think it's going to be, I think it just looks awesome. I like the real light colored maple fretboards. I'm a big maple fretboard fan. I mean, you'd think I've been playing guitar forever, but if you heard me play guitar, you'd probably be pretty disappointed because I've only been playing guitar for about 6 months. So maybe at the very end, I'll play a little something that I've been able to learn. But I don't know. Ever since COVID, I guess I needed a hobby, and this was something. I used to play saxophone a long time ago when I was young, but so I do know a little bit about music. But I just love the guitar. I love all the electronics and putting them together. So that's the end of part 3 for the vintage Fender build. The next part is going to be mounting the bridge and installing the electronics and putting it all together and seeing how it's going to work. But it's turning out to be a beautiful guitar. So if you'd like to like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. And stay tuned for part 4. I think part 4 we might be able to get this whole thing put together.